So as I promised in the last video, look, I'm not lying. I had to react to it, okay? Are humans OP? It's kind of an older video, 4 years ago. What if humans... Oh, come on. the humans are going to have a brand new stat, though, right? Like self-awareness, or is he just going to put intelligence at 100? Because we're going to have the max intelligence. You think so? I'd hope so. Because, there's some humans that might not deserve to have the max intelligence stat on here. I just want to point that out. I want to preface that. But hopefully you guys have an amazing day, or you had a great one. You know, if the day is over, like it is for me. Ugh. And tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow's an important day. But we gonna kill it. As we always do. Right, boys? That's right. Let me move this right here. Okay. No more talking. Audience retention stuff. People click off the videos, I'm sure. I talk too long, and I do it to myself. And then I go and I film the whole entire video. And if people clicked on it, it means they must have been interested to watch me react to Are Humans OP? Which is like, like if you're gonna click off, like that's kind of sad because at least you were interested at first. Like you might as well like finish. Like you were. Let's go.
This episode was sponsored by Skillshare.
99 damage! My man's got 99
Human
fucking
beings.
water.
Are they as overpowered as the game's community would lead you to believe? Short answer,
S tier.
yeah. They're the most meta-defining build of all time, and the undisputed top build in...
Overpowered as fuck. I'm just saying humans need to be nerfed. In my opinion, I think we might need a little bit of a nerf. I'm surprised the game devs are actually like lacking. Because for like a few 100,000 years, we've actually like desperately needed a nerf. Actually maybe not that long, because only until recently did we really start destroying like shit with machines. But ever since then, which has been a while now, game devs have just not nerfed us, and I don't want to jinx it, because I'm one of them. So if you're one of them, you're just never gonna want yourself to be nerfed like that. I don't care how fair you want to be to everybody else. It's just great to be at the top, man. And the only thing that could really knock us out is probably killing everybody else. Because the only thing that could really knock us out is like a meteor or like a black hole eating us up or something.
The current
expansion. And then that would...
But believe it or not,
like,
this
you
wasn't
can't
always
really
the case.
nerf us.
Humans used to get bodied left and right on a daily basis by other players. And it took a pretty long time before the player base learned how to actually make use of the human build's unique abilities. The story of the humans' rise to dominance is a really interesting one.
Get wrecked, scrub.
And so today, we're going to do an in-depth look at the humans' abilities, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Because yes, they do have weaknesses. We'll also go over notable matchups, and finally look at the steps human players took in order to reach their dominant status. First, their unique abilities.
OP, so OP.
I touched on this topic in my video about primates, but I'll recap here and also go into more detail. First off the bat, we have their ability to throw things.
Damn, we can
Other
throw.
builds can throw things, but humans can do so harder, faster, and further than anyone else.
No, I don't believe that.
The reason for this is their body structure. Bipedal builds are tough to balance, both in the game development sense and the center of mass sense. Throwing an item with any real force behind it requires serious balance, achieved only by having shorter arms and longer legs. This is why humans can launch projectiles at deadly speeds,
Oh, that is
whereas
true,
other
to be
primates
honest.
kind of just lob things without putting much effort into it.
Sheesh.
If they tried to, they would knock themselves over, even if chimpanzees could figure out how to craft it.
Oh, look at them. They got nerfed so bad, bro. They don't even have center of mass. Ha, get wrecked, scrub.
Spear.
Get wrecked, scrub.
There's no way they could throw it hard enough to deal any significant damage.
Shitter.
Next, their stamina regeneration. Humans can chase down anything. If you try
Bro,
to
I
run
get
from a
tired.
human, you might...
But we don't include every human in there. Like you gotta pinpoint meta, like humans when they were really meta physically. Nowadays, in America, they didn't need to nerf us. I think we're just kind of nerfing ourselves. There's like, people are really obese. It's like, like 60% of the population. It's pretty high. Like a lot of people are fucking fat. Not stamina. No, you fucking get tired going up a stair. There's no stamina.
outspeed them initially,
Like, you're talking about a
but you'll run out of
specific-
stamina much sooner than they will, and they'll catch up to you while you're in your weakened state.
You're talking about the
This is
antiquity
partially because of their
humans.
superior balance again, but mostly it's because of the human build's unique choice to not spec into fur. This gives them access to the extremely broken ability Sweat. Every other current build that's decent at distance running recharges stamina by using the move Pant. This works great, but it does require the user to stop running. Sweat, on the other hand, works better while moving. massively extending the distance a human player can run.
Yes!
They've got a few other important abilities that are essential to their kit, but aren't unique to humans. Their ability to speak is unique among mammals.
Oh
but
man, our defense is horrible. We got the lowest defense stat in the game. HP 40, not the worst. Oh, stealth is bad. You tell me stealth is bad? There's some sneaky motherfuckers out here. Mobility ain't too bad. Like get Usain Bolt and we're talking. You know, power. Yeah, that seems about right.
Some birds can pull it off too. In humans, the ability to speak allows them to use one of their signature moves, Teach, which drastically boosts skill point gain, mitigating the main penalty a player receives upon getting a game over. Humans and birds also share another unique trait, which is being able to stand upright. Standing upright is extremely
Is mitigating them getting a tombstone? Oh, man.
useful for dealing with stealth builds that might normally be using tall grass to hide. Tool use also might be thought of as a human-exclusive move,
You won't,
and it
mate.
certainly is the most effective in humans. But it turns out a pretty wide array of other builds can also do it. Birds, primates, cephalopods, and even fish can use tools on occasion. But sweating and throwing, uniquely human. Now onto their weaknesses. And yes, it's true that currently most human players can subvert these with their crafting skill. But it's important to recognize that without equipment, the human build isn't necessarily unstoppable. The decision to not
we are
have fur
kinda
granted
not
humans
stealthy.
a massive buff to mobility at the cost of stealth. In the mammal faction, fur is a prerequisite to all of the major stealth abilities like camouflage, and lack of stealth abilities means getting in close on their targets is a serious challenge. The human build's lack of fur also means they have very low defense, both from
Yeah, we
physical
have no
attacks
defense.
and from environmental effects. Bare skin offers almost zero armor, to the point where even players from lower weight classes have no trouble dealing damage to.
But if we did, now that would be really fucking. I mean, too much intelligence is just the best stat to boost. Yeah, you can have defense, you can have all of that on 100. Other animals have it there. You know, like rhinoceros, fucking lion, strength. You know, like some motherfuckers are really strong. What else? A bull or a bison? No, like motherfuckers are strong. They have defense, but it doesn't matter because they didn't get their intelligence buffed. We got intelligence buffed, and that's easily the most OP stat to have.
Humans. And bare skin also takes quite a bit of damage from the sun, too.
Ooh,
Humans are
yeah,
also
you
pretty
know.
limited when it comes to the power stat. Physically, they're the weakest of the great apes, and don't really have any good options for dealing damage. They
Ooh.
lack the classic high damage bite attack that nearly every other non-herbivorous build relies on, instead having to resort to blunt attacks like punch and kick, which we all
He's
know
fighting
aren't
a
very
bear.
effective against builds that have thick fur or skin. The last major weakness I can see is
Oh,
that
I'm
they're
not
pretty
beating
bad
up
at dealing
grass.
with stealth. The lack of night vision means darkness can really hamper their ability to locate targets, and their lack of a strong sense of smell means camouflage is especially useful against them. Okay, now let's talk about matchups. Obviously, a key feature of the human build is being able to craft equipment. Given basic equipment like low-level armor and hunting gear, the human's best matchup is going to be medium-large mammals. Unlike blunt damage, piercing damage is quite effective versus builds with thick hide, but on defense they're actually pretty awful. A human's only option on defense against a large mammal is intimidation, unless they've got some crazy high-level equipment. But I'll make a video on power creep later. The classic human equipment cannot stop a charging tank main unless the intimidate attempt works. But
Oh, you're
overall,
right.
this matchup is one of the reasons humans became top tier. Hardly any builds have favorable matchups against tanks. But that's not to say humans don't have their counters though. As I said before, stealth can be really effective against them due to their lack of a keen sense of smell and night vision. Humans have the ability to win pretty much any fight as long as they've got time to prepare. But taken by surprise, humans have a lot fewer options. Another thing humans have trouble
Holy
dealing with
shit.
is flight. Even when a human has a ranged weapon, players with high aerial mobility are pretty safe during flight. Now, as far as I know, there aren't any bird builds powerful enough to one-shot humans, which is important because blunt attacks like punches are actually quite effective against birds.
You can't get one pumped. Let's go, humans. We can't get one pumped. Us. We're good from the skies. And I was gonna say, you can't tell that to one of those motherfuckers that likes to shoot birds, but we're not including guns. You're talking about primal humans, which they were the best physically, but now we got guns, and that completely changed. Like, we're not gonna get stopped in terms of other, like, we're just not. We can only stop ourselves. That's the bad thing.
Birds have hollow bones that are resistant to tension and torsion, but not compression. This is the opposite of mammal bones, which are resistant to compression and tension
Excuse
torsion,
me?
but actually quite effective against birds. Birds have hollow bones that are resistant to tension and torsion, but not compression. This is the opposite of mammal bones, which are resistant to compression and tension, but not torsion. The point is, birds aren't the best choice against humans, but flight has been unlocked by 4 different classes in the game. Birds, which we just discussed aren't a good choice. Bats, which do even less damage than birds.
Damn.
Reptiles, which unfortunately had their aerial builds banned in patch 1.3.1. And insects. Flying eusocial insects have by far the best matchup versus humans in the entire game. Humans have 0 counterplay against a swarm of stinging insects.
You're
I mean,
right.
sure, there are special items that they
right.
can use to combat swarms if they're prepared, but the amount of human mains who've chosen that as one of their prestige abilities is pretty small. Humans' lack of fur means they have no innate defense against stings. Stings also have the chance to proc the Amphylaxis debuff, which can actually lead to a game over. And it's for this reason that the high score for human eliminations belongs to the Africanized honeybee, known better by its community-given name, the killer bee. And even if the stings don't proc the allergic reaction effect, they will still definitely achieve their primary goal of dropping their resolve to 0 and granting you control over the territory. And we can see that lately the viability of killer bees has only been growing now that they've expanded their territory outside of Africa.
Fuck.
Which brings me to my main point.
We're fucked.
Are humans overpowered?
Oh, we're gonna get shit on by fucking bees. That's gonna be our downfall, right? That's gonna be how. That's, you know, it could either be ourselves or it could be bees. You know, fucking. Oh, the Zika virus. Like, certain shit did get like malaria. He didn't even mention malaria. We don't want to go there. That's really bad. You come to think about it, insects that fly, they're really fucking us up. You know, like now we're a bit better. You know, we got we got vaccines. Like, we come up with anything to debuff other animals. We come up with anything to fucking buff ourselves, prestige.
Well, just like the Africanized honeybee, humans really only became OP once they escaped the African server and invaded other areas. Notice how humans took down megafauna across every terrestrial server except Africa. The African tank mains took down megafauna across every terrestrial server except Africa. The African tank mains have the matchup experience and counterplay options to deal with the vast array of skills humans have access to. But the rest of the community was totally unprepared to deal with the rapid invasion of new human mains invading their competitive scene. In other words, the devs could have prevented the massive destabilization of the current meta if they'd region locked humans. Staying competitive in the meta requires a good player constantly be leveling up their skills. There's no better example of this than the rapid rise to dominance that humans experienced. If you'd like to level up your own skills and unlock new ones, I highly recommend Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 classes in.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. We'll be deafed by the nerves in the nuclear update. Yep. Yep. Yep, I told you. We're the only ones that can nerf us. Bats can do no significant damage. Oh. It didn't dawn on me. It didn't dawn on me when I first watched it. Yep. I didn't even think about that. You're right. You're right. As a human main, I can safely say, as a human main. I can safely say that we get RNG buffs depending on your start. The anxiety buff has given me the really broken ability of guessing bad scenarios most of the time. Sadly, it also means I have to deal with a really bad paranoia stat, but I think it's a really smart way to balance the broken ability. When we found the tools and metal and also the electricity cheat code, we really broke the game. Some of the best cheat codes were tech and 12-year-olds on game trolling sprees, who are something that put us apart. Another buff to instincts is that they have dangerously low HP and very small hitboxes, which makes it very hard to hit them even for humans. The only exception to this is items that do splash damage, like pesticides. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me know what you guys think, man. Are humans too OP? Let me know. We kind of get fucked up by insects. I mean, you can't say we're not OP, but that getting fucked up by insects thing is really fucking with me. Okay.